Guys, what's going on out there today? Hey, Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Hope you're having a great day so far, wherever you are. And the title of today's message is the Tony Gwynn Method for Consistency. Most of you will probably recognize that name, Tony Gwynn. Baseball's maybe the greatest contact hitter of all time. Lifetime batting average of around 338. Wow, that is just insane. This day and age, if you're Tony Gwynn hitting 338, you're making a gazillion dollars every year. Anyway, guys, look, I'm going to turn this into what Tony Gwynn did for um, how he got better at becoming a hitter, and I'm going to turn that into how we can use the same method he used for our tennis and to become a lot more consistent as shot makers. And look, it may be that most of your game is darn consistent, you're good, but there could be one area that you want to get better at. And so grab some pen or pencil and paper because I want you to take some notes today. Because if you are lacking consistency in one part of your game, today's episode is definitely going to help you. Look, guys, before we get into it, if you've not yet picked up my free 9-minute video about the reality of the 80-20 ratio in our matches, 80% of the time, on average, is spent either between points or on side changes. Right. Only about 20% of the time are we actually playing points in our matches. And so uh, the key here is that if you manage that 80% of the time when we're not playing points, if you manage that super well, good things consistently tend to happen in the next upcoming point for you. You get much better clarity if you manage that 80% of the time really well. Down below, I got a free video for you. 9-minute video that describes my 4 parts between points routine that's made an enormous difference in my results over the last several years. So when we're done today, if you've not yet picked up that video, go on down below, click that link, and you can get access to it. So I got this from Dr. Nate Zinsser, capital Zinsser, who's the author of the great book, The Confident Mind. And I picked up that book maybe 2.5 years ago. I've gone through that book a few times, certainly made a lot of notes and reread those notes. And there's always a time when I read the book again, when I go, man, how did I miss this thing? And make sure that I make a note on that. But if you've not yet picked up that book, Dr. Nate Zinsser's book, The Confident Mind, you got to do it. Absolutely got to do it. In the book, he describes Tony Gwynn, and back in the day when Tony was playing, this is like what, late 80s, early 90s, video was starting to become a thing in terms of an analytical tool for hitters, for baseball hitters. And so, as the story goes, he hired someone on the staff, um, Padres. He was playing for the San Diego Padres to video each one of his at bats, and uh, and so the guy would then he would have the raw footage of all the at bats. And the first few times he said, "Well, here it is," and Tony said, "Well, um, I don't want to see the at bats or the swings that aren't really really good." And the guy said, "Well, don't you want to analyze what you're doing wrong?" And Tony's response was, "Well, why would I ever want to see what I'm doing wrong?" And that kind of hit me like when I read that in the book, I went, whoa. So what you're saying is you're only seeing yourself doing the right thing. And that was the message that he told this guy, or the directions. He said, look, I want you to edit today's all the at bats and all the swings. And unless it's dead perfect, um, edit them out. So all he got was a kind of a short video at the end of every day, at the end of every game, of only the swings and the hits or the at bats that were really, really good. And so Tony was just kept watching himself doing the right thing over and over and over again. And so if you've watched any of my What's the Right Shot episodes, not all of them, but most of them, um, I'm in there at some point doing the right thing. And so for me, and this was like totally unintended when I started What's the Right Shot, um, was that now all of a sudden I'm seeing myself over and over and over again doing the right thing. I hadn't intended it that way in terms of my own teaching methods. I was actually looking at it in terms of what the premise of What's the Right Shot is, which is two things. Number one, shot choice. Where do you want the ball to land over there? And then number two, court position. Where do you want to move to next on the court? And it was really intended initially, and still is, to be able to show players, look, let's stop looking at technique over and over again and start learning the game more from shot choice and court positioning. And yet, for me, what I was getting out of that, because I was seeing myself doing the right thing over and over again, I was now seeing technique without focusing on it. I was seeing the right technique over and over again. So, what's the point of today's message? Is, well, number one, I want you to stop analyzing all the time what you're doing wrong. There's just no point in it. You're better off understanding and knowing what it is you're doing right and focus only on that. And here's the way that you can do it, which kind of mimics what I was doing with What's the Right Shot, is you need to do three things. Number one is you need to understand, and let's take it for example, and I'm just picking out this one stroke, but let's say your topspin forehand. And so what are the three fundamentals, the three fundies on any good topspin forehand, right? Number one's going to be prep, right? Are you instantly, if you're right-handed and you see a ball's coming to the right side of you, how quickly and in what position are you getting prepped, right? Are you just slowly getting there or barely getting your shoulders turned or whatever? All right, well, the funding on that one is we want instant prep, right? To where if the ball's just a laser beam coming in, you could, from that instant prep position, if you needed to, you could just go ahead and deliver the swing. So the three fundies, number one is going to be prep. Number two is going to be contact. And contact is, what's the spatial distance you want on your standard topspin forehand away from the contact point? What's that distance away from contact point, right? Don't want it too far away. You don't want it in tight where it's just jamming you. Don't want it too far in front. Obviously, you don't want it too late, right? So you need to know, as a fundamental for your unique topspin forehand, what's your ideal spatial distance away from that point of contact. And then the third thing is, what's the finish position you want on your topspin forehand? Where do you want to end up? Right. And I think too often what we do is we think about the prep and the contact and we lose the actual finish position that we want. So if you know those three things, that's the start. Now what you got to do is you got to get your phone video out, get a tripod or some way to be able to get the phone where it's just focused on you. It's not going back and forth with you don't have someone recording the ball going back and forth. It's just focused on you, and have someone feed you some balls, right? Let's take it away from a point situation. Someone easily feed you some balls at one bounce, and you can go ahead and hit a series of topspin forehands. And what you want to do with that video is you now want to go back, put it on your computer or whatever, and you want to find the one. You want to find that one forehand that is dead perfect. It's got all three of those fundies in there. It's got your prep position that you absolutely want each and every time. It's got your contact position on its standard. Look, I know we can't always get the contact exactly where we want it during points, but if we could more often get it there, we might be a more consistent shot maker, of course. And then the finish, right? So you're looking for those three fundies, and in one of those forehands that you've recorded. Let's say that you record 30 forehands, right? Someone feeds you, and you record them on your phone. You then go back and you find the one that's dead perfect. Now what you do, and I'm happy to help you do this if you can't do this. If you can't figure it out on your own, you find that one, you edit it out, and now you make a repeat video of just that one, right? And this is what Tony Gwynn did. He would find the swing or the at bat or whatever it was, And he would find that one that he just loved on that day. And then the guy would just edit into this thing, this one repeat loop, right? Where it would just repeat over and over and over again. And he'd sit there and just watch it. And I've done this, and if you're familiar at all with the old Cybervision videos, which featured, I think Stan Smith was one of them on the forehand. And they showed Stan Smith hitting what they thought was a dead perfect forehand, right? It was on a repeat, same forehand over and over again. And the whole theory there is you'd sit there and watch it and absorb this unbelievably perfect Stan Smith forehand. And somehow that would get into your brain. I think that worked pretty well, but there was always, at least for me, there was always a voice going off going, wait a minute, this is the current Wimbledon singles champion, Stan Smith. Can I actually repeat what he's doing? Probably not. But if you can get that one video of you hitting what you think is a dead perfect forehand, you're the model. Now your brain goes, wow, man, we can do this over and over and over again. And so, again, like I said, if you don't know how to edit that thing out, send it to me. I will do it for you. Let me know which one, or we can get together on a video analysis session, and we'll find that one, and then I'll make a repeat video for you. And then once you have that, you need to watch that thing. I mean, look, the repeat videos that I make for myself are maybe 60 to 90 seconds long. I just watch that thing two, three. It's on my phone, right? Um, I watch that two, three, four times a day. How long does that take? That's a couple of minutes of my day. It's not much, right? 3 minutes of your day. It's not a whole lot. But when you're consistently seeing yourself doing, you as the model, seeing yourself doing the right thing, I'm telling you, over time, it doesn't take long. Now you start to become a much more consistent shot maker. So, yeah, if you want help with this, just shoot me an email, Brent at webtennis.com. And I'm more than happy to help you with it. Guys, hope this has been helpful. Let me know down below what's on your mind. Um, any comments, questions, feedback, remarks? I love to read your stuff, and I promise to always get back to you. Might take me a day or two, but I certainly will respond. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, look, if you've not yet picked up my free 9-minute video. There's a link right down below in the description area. I want you to click it. Just drop in a first name and email address over there at the video page, and you'll get access. You'll get immediate access to the video, which describes my 4 parts between points routine. And when I'm really disciplined to that routine in matches, man, I just tend to consistently play at the very top of my skill level. You can as well. Right down below is that link. Make sure that you click it, get signed up, and you will be all set to go. Guys, hope this has been helpful today. It's time. We got to get out there. We got to help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, I'll see you again next time.